Hello, everyone. We are Team 6, and today we're going to be talking to you about our CESIM strategies. So, in this presentation, just a little overview. First, we're going to introduce you to our team, and then we're going to talk a bit about the analysis of our strategy, how we formulated those strategies, how we implemented them, how we oversaw and governed them throughout the process, and our forecast for the future.
Okay, so this is our team. We have Amanda as the Chief Executive Officer, Joey and Amelia tag teaming as the Chief Operating Officers, Jose as the Chief Marketing Officer, and finally Son as our Chief Financial Officer. So what we did was evaluate business statistics based on the market outlook for each year and determine company strategy and how to act based on the consumer demand, determine pricing strategy based off of the features that we were implementing, and then, of course, finally make plans for future years.
So starting off with our strategy analysis, where did we get our information from? So in the initial rounds, gaining a comprehensive understanding of the market landscape was really like essential for us. This is where the market outlook really came into play and was proved to be really valuable to us. It allowed us to kind of gauge the overall direction of the industry and identify potential like challenges and kind of see like what would pop up each week or each year. This bird's eye view of everything with the outlook kind of was crucial in setting our initial strategy. So this kind of like laid the foundation for that. Off of this, we also had the market reports, and that also became very instrumental during the later years in carving out our competitive advantage against the other teams in the industry. These reports kind of provided us things like pricing information, feature information, and kind of all the impact that their sales had. And with this, we kind of were able to kind of craft our own strategy and our own way of doing things, like with our pricing, with our own features, and the way we kind of sold our products or our vehicles. And we did this to kind of help maximize our sales potential. And on the other hand, we also had our financial statement information that was also cumulative, not cumulative, but also broken down by team as well. And it offered more of a deep dive into looking at things like feature costs, R&D, manufacturing costs, and promotional costs. And we kind of used this to see what other teams were allocating their funds for those things and how we kind of allocate and shape that into our own kind of strategy and what to invest the most on as well. We also were able to use the case description and company description to kind of lay another foundation for our strategy. As you can see here, and we had a chart in the sales, marketing, and market area, which kind of broke it down by price, features, and promotion, and then did it by country. Just for an example, if you look at promotion, it says highest, median, and lowest. So that means that USA was really sensitive to promotion, meaning that we had to promote a lot in the USA. China wasn't really like it was like half for China, and then Europe was kind of the lowest. They didn't really care about promotion. And then on the other hand, you have prices and features where USA wasn't really concerned about it, China was really concerned about it, and then Europe was kind of like didn't really care for it as much.
So, a bit about how we formulated the strategy. Going into the first round, we went in with the mentality of a low cost strategy. And we did that by keeping prices relatively low to attract customers through affordability. Um, but as the simulation progressed, we realized that a one size fits all approach wasn't going to work for every region. So we shifted to more of a focus strategy and we adapted our decisions to each individual market. And so each week we took a close look at the data and we made adjustments to the price, the production, and the marketing based on what we thought was working best. One of the key things that we noticed was how well hybrid cars were performing, especially in Europe and the USA. And because of this, we doubled down and invested more into hybrid production and R&D, which allowed us to stay competitive and grow our market share in that segment. And so as we moved into later rounds, we took a look at our financials and we realized that our production costs were too high. and that was cutting into our profitability. So we began to apply a more consistent cost leadership strategy. Um, and we did that by optimizing our production and plant utilization, and we looked for ways that we could streamline without sacrificing quality. And so, towards the end of the simulation, we also made a push into electric vehicles, and that was a segment that was still developing, but we saw an opportunity to position ourselves early while other teams were slower to enter. And though it was a risk, it aligned with the market trends and it helped us to diversify our portfolio.
To implement our strategy, we concentrated on three major pillars: cost optimization, strategic planning, pricing, and product focus. Under cost optimization, we cut R&D personnel and scaled back contract manufacturing to reduce overhead and avoid excess inventory. We also paused additional feature development to reduce our costs. For strategic pricing, we adjusted our product prices, raising combustion vehicle prices by $2,000 and hybrid by $1,000 in the US, and also increased prices in China by 10,000 yen. This helped us boost our revenue while managing our high production costs. Lastly, in terms of product focus and flexibility, we concentrated our efforts on electric cars and maintained our current features with room to adapt in future rounds. The team aligned on a flexible decision-making approach that supported our improvements. This slide visually supports the outcome of our decisions. In the cost optimization column, our team achieved the highest profit before depreciation with about 30.01%, which clearly shows that our efforts to reduce R&D and contract manufacturing expenses paid off. And looking at the price adjustments, we attained one of the highest earnings per share at 7.68, proving that our price increases were well received and did not significantly impact the demand. And under product focus, our cumulative total shareholder return stood at 18.26%, placing us among the top teams, which indicates that our focus and flexible product strategy generated a long-term value. And altogether, these results demonstrate that our implementation strategy was effective in driving profitability and shareholder returns.
So jumping into strategic governance, how did we assess our plan for each year? So we had to analyze the market outlook each week, and then of course the demand and all costs related to production, marketing, human resources, etc. Then we had to analyze our competitors' market. Which new feature should we develop and implement to make ourselves stand out from that of our competitors? How can we make ourselves appealing to a broader consumer audience while still producing generic combustion cars and making ourselves attainable to consumers of all kinds? This involved shifting costs, making cuts where necessary, paying off short and long-term debts, and of course, monitoring inventory. From there, we had to assess various strategies to make our cars more marketable without increasing costs too much.
And so on. Oh. And so for a strategy forecast, there are some tips our team would recommend for the future CEO to continue investing in R&D and digital transformations, to remain ahead in innovation cycles. So future CEO should uphold customer-centric values, invest in employee development, and maintains a proactive approach to the market change. And so for the strategies, we would highly recommend the lowest cost leadership strategies as a competition intensify and consumer become more price conscious. So being the lowest cost producers will allow us to defend a market share and maintain a profit even in dire economic conditions. So in general, this strategy position the firm to grow sustainable, outperform cost-focused competitors, and remain a resilient regardless of market fluctuation.
To end everything off before we wrap it up, I just wanted to highlight our rankings for the final year. On the chart on the left, we have the cumulative total shareholder return. As you can see, we were ranked fifth place out of all the teams out of 10 teams, so we're in the top five, which is not bad, at 18.26%, as you heard Amelia talk about earlier. And we also ranked third place for profits, as you see right there, out of 10 teams, which is really, really good, top three. So I would say our strategy was pretty good. When it comes to the shareholder return, we started off kind of low, but we picked it up and look, we landed top five, so that's pretty good. But as for all of that, thank you for tuning in and joining us on this presentation, and we hope that you were able to understand our strategy and go on this journey with us. Thank you.